Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland, my weekly show where I take a deep dive into a particular film. And we're on episode 5 of my series of Alfred Hitchcock, only 55 more to go. And we're going to be talking about The Ring. Definitely not the kind of ring you're probably thinking of when I say that. Um, Living in 2025. We'll be getting into that along with the other segments, but joining me is Chantal from one of my fellow contributors. So much for coming on,
Thank you for having me.
and also a member of the crew, the SPDM crew, where I probably do too many podcasts, but there's a lot of fun shows to check out, and listening to you and your brother have fun talking about movies is a blast. So,
Thank you. It's a lot of fun to be able to have that, time with my brother finally. So
mhm.
yeah, we always have a good time. It's as you can see, we're always laughing.
For the record, the internet lies, and I was listening to that Mortal Kombat episode. Like he said, get over here,
Exactly.
100%.
Thank you. I was like, I'm not nuts. I know he says it in the movie at least
He
once.
says it in the forest. Get
Yes.
over here, and then he says, "Get down here" when they're in like the hellscape place, and he like
Yes.
kicks
Thank
the
you.
ladder out, like the
Yes, I knew
scaffolding
it.
out from under him. I'm just like, I've watched this movie too many times to not remember this.
Right, I knew it. I was just like, we were like just going nuts about that whole entire scene, and we knew it was just like,
Somebody on
there's
the
no
internet
way.
somewhere is having a chuckle at trying to gaslight me. Maybe that wasn't true.
Exactly.
But anyway, if you want to hear more about that, you should check out their episode talking about Mortal Kombat. But this show has 3 segments, so we do have coming attractions, which this is Friday, October 3rd, because it's October
Right.
already, which is wild. And then we'll be talking about 1927's The Ring, and we'll have some recommendations for you. So there's only one wide release coming out this weekend, besides there's like 4 movies getting re-released this weekend, including Avatar, Way of Water. GoldenEye's getting re-released for its 30th anniversary, and I would really love to
Wow.
see that in a theater, but I have plans all weekend, and I'm like, darn it. But the one wide release, which I know you mentioned being interested in, Chantal, is The Smashing Machine. So, what
Yeah.
interests you about this new Benny Safdie, Dwayne Johnson film?
I think it's because look, I think it's because with Dwayne Johnson, it's like everybody we all know him as The Rock. When he first started out in acting, he started out in action, but he kind of got into the more serious roles, which I love him in. It's like to me when he does the serious, more dramatic performances, he does a lot. He does so much better because we get to see him um shine a lot more
Hmm.
because I feel like with these last few movies that we've been seeing him in, it's like he's been playing the same consistent character, like over and over, like just the same big muscly guy. I can fight and break through stuff. So it's
In
just
jungle attire.
exactly. So it's just the same consistent dude. Like every
Mhm.
like I think it was the last 4 movies that he's done is the same consistent guy. So to finally see him get him to stretch out his wings once again to be able to see him be dramatic, it's kind of
Mhm.
nice. So um even though it's like an MMA, the UFC kind of movie, but still I think it's he's just gonna still show some kind of heart, some kind of depth. It's just not him just being like this big muscly guy trying to save the world. He's actually playing a human being who has
Mhm.
feelings and who goes through ups and downs. And so I'm kind of excited to see what he does. And of course, I think this is the second time him and I think Emily. Oh my God, what is her?
Emily Blunt. This time they're
Thank
not in a
you.
jungle on a cruise.
Yes. I was getting ready to say Emily Snowman. And I'm like, that is totally not her name. But him and Emily Blunt, it's kind of nice just to see them. Like you said, this is not Jungle Cruise. They're
Yeah.
not in the middle of an Amazon. They're playing regular people. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of just excited just to see how he does in this role. So just to see that, that old actor again.
Yeah. And obviously, this is like getting a lot of attention because Benny
Right.
Safdie and Like the Safdie brothers broke up creatively to go try to make their own Oscar-winning films this year between The Smashing Machine and Marty Supreme.
Yes.
Um, and it's Dwayne Johnson versus Timothy Chalamet. I want to see that fight. I want to see
Yeah.
that in the octagon, and then I want to see them play ping pong next. Um, so who's gonna win there? But no, this
That'd be
was
interesting.
as we're recording, I literally just got home from seeing this, and
Mhm.
I think people will be pleasantly surprised and happy with getting to see The Rock do more as an actor. And I think
Same.
it's a really fine film. So I look
Mhm.
forward for people to check it out. Now, one other film that definitely both of us had piqued our interest is Good Boy, which is a new horror film from the perspective of a dog.
Right.
And so, Chantal, what grabbed your attention about this one?
I think what grabbed my attention, I think it was the same reason that it grabbed everybody else's, is that it's from the point of view of a dog, and this dog has to watch his owner be possessed, and I'm just like, I don't it's like I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm like, all I'm thinking, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, is the dog going to be okay? Like, like is the dog going to make it? Like, I think that's what's going through everybody's head. Like, I
Yes,
think that's like
100%.
one of the main reasons. Like, I kind of like want to see it, but then I kind of don't want to see it because like you said before, you kind of like stressed out about this movie, and I'm just like, I know I was stressed out if I saw it too, because it's just like you're just like worried about the dog. You're just worried. Just like,
100%.
please make it. Just please survive. That's all I want. And I think that's why I'm like, okay, I'm like, can I do it or can I not? So it's like I'm in between like, let's do it, but then I'm also like, maybe I should wait, or I don't know. It's like
I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, this is going to be very interesting if this movie
mhm.
does well or not, because like I could see like a ton of people being like, "Oh my God, I love dogs," but also being like, "I can't watch this." And luckily, the film's only like 75 minutes at most, so
All
like
right.
you don't have to be sitting in that for too long, but it's enough. It's enough to be sitting in there just worrying about that dog the whole time. I did get to watch this one already, and
All right.
it does not disappoint with the dog getting to spend some time with this dog, and it is quite creepy, and I'm interested to see how people respond to it when it comes out. Now, the film that I'm most excited about, and this was a no-brainer for me, is Anemone because I'm a humongous Daniel Day-Lewis fan, and this man
Right.
coming out of retirement to act again, I'm like, him and Sean Bean in the same movie. I don't even know what this
Right.
movie's about, but it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
I'm sold. And the
Because
trailer is really interesting and
yeah.
creepy. And I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, because I just saw I what movie did I just go see and it was in front of, it was, I want to believe it was The Long Walk. They
Oh,
showed
that
it in
makes
front of The
sense.
Long Walk, and it was just weird because I was just like wondering, I'm like, what is this? And I was just like sitting there watching, and all of a sudden my mom was just like, she's like, I want to go see this, and I was like, what? And I was just like really surprised because it didn't look like anything she would watch. But then again, I'm like, my mom is also someone who is just outside the box, so I love her for that.
Wild
But I
card.
know, right? But she's also a fan of Sean Bean too, so
Nice.
that was another reason why I know that's probably why. And then also when she saw Daniel Day Lewis, she was just like, oh, and I was just like, yeah. And so that's when she was like, I'll go see it. I was like, okay, so I'm like, if you'll go see it, I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. So I'm kind of excited just to see, just because I'm
Mhm.
like, it's a father and son duo, and the fact that Daniel Day Lewis came out of retirement basically like for his son, I'm like, why not? I will give this movie a shot. And on top of that, I do love Sean Bean as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
The
you got a good cast, so
yeah, the two of them, and I think even it's like, is it Emily Watson? I think is in it too.
I
Um,
would, I believe so. I think
so like, there's a strong cast here, even outside of just Daniel Day-Lewis was enough for me.
right.
Like, it could be literally any movie, and you tell me Daniel Day-Lewis is coming out of retirement, I'm like,
Mhm.
that's automatically most excited for me. And
Yeah.
like, to be frank, I think this is my most anticipated movie the last 3 months of the year.
Oh,
And
okay.
because I love Daniel Day-Lewis that much. Closely right next to with Predator Badland because
Oh, yeah,
I love Predator movies.
same.
But you know, those are that's what we're dealing with here in the last couple months of this year. So there you go. But those are our coming attractions for this weekend. So obviously the big one is the Smashing Machine, and I guess I should throw out there that whatever that Taylor Swift thing is that getting released in theaters this weekend too.
Oh.
Um, Poor Dwayne Johnson. All the screens are going to be taken up by T Swift, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh
But
man.
here's some background information for The Ring. So this is indeed a boxing movie, a boxing ring. So not that kind of ring.
Right.
Um, and this is an hour and 48-minute film and was restored in 2012 to that length. This was released October 1st, 1927. So, oh, we're almost talking about this 98 years to the day. There you
Wow.
go. Look at that math.
That's crazy.
Um, Starring Carl Brisson, Lillian Hall Davis, and Ian Hunter. This was made at Elstree Studios. It was part of the newly established British International Pictures production studio. This was Hitchcock's first film with that studio. Hitchcock was 28 years old when he made this film, and apparently he was a huge boxing fan. So this was something that really interested him. Francois Truffaut considered The Ring a great technical feat, so getting that rub from other famous filmmakers for sure. And
Right.
lastly, this was a major critical success, but bombed hard at the box office. So sad day for Alfred Hitchcock and
Yeah.
bankability there. Um, and I hope you're all ready for me to read the synopsis of this movie. Two boxers compete for the love of a woman. Boom, there it is. So
Straight and simple, just right to the
and
point.
to be fair, it's accurate.
Yeah,
Like
it
this
really
is
is
what this
actually.
movie is about in one sentence. So, and this is streaming on Amazon Prime Video here in the United States, at least. And obviously, this is written and directed by Alfred Hitchcock. But Chantal, what were your general thoughts on The Ring?
So well, the first thing was like I had to make sure that I was watching the the actual the right ring because I had to like ask you. I was just like, I want to make sure. I'm like, the one
Yes.
we're talking about is the one from the 1920s. So I was
So we're
like,
not watching
perfect.
Ringu. We're not getting any videotapes and scaring the crap out of ourselves.
Exactly. So I was just like, when I like read it, I had to double check just to be sure because it said
Yep.
Alfred Hitchcock. So I was just like, Alfred Hitchcock love story. Like it didn't like add up to me at all. So it just seemed kind of weird that it was an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Hmm.
Um, but I was kind of interested because I'm so used to him being so like the suspenseful type, just like with
Yep.
Vertigo, Psycho, and like The Bird. So that's what I'm so used to. So just to get to see like a young Hitchcock and what he was able to give us with this film, I thought was kind of like interesting. Also, it was like my first like silent film to like read intertitles because at first I
Mhm.
was just sitting there and I was just like, I don't need subtitles. I'm like, don't touch subtitles. I was just like waiting for them to like,
They're not
I was
saying
just
anything.
exactly. So I'm just like waiting because I'm like, I could see mouse moving, but there's like no intertitles yet. So I was just like, I'm like, just be patient. I'm like, just wait.
Hmm.
And then eventually the intertitles came out. So it's just like, okay. So, but it actually was just, um, it was like an entertaining time. I
Hmm.
enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this story. I didn't think I was going to because I'm like, oh, it's silent. I'm like, I'm not, but I actually did. I think it was just the music made it very upbeat. It just kept
Hmm.
your attention. I did enjoy the fact that like how the story began, like you're just seeing like them just talking like, hey, if you can just do one round with this guy, like, you can win this, but it just seems like everybody just did not like have a chance against this guy. But um and then I also loved just like the point of view shots in like
Hmm.
certain scenes, like when they're in the ring, because I'm like, this is the 1920s. This is something that I'm like thinking like, how does someone like this like early on to think of something like that? Like, let's get them like showing them in the ring, like seeing it what it feels like to like dodge like punches and things like that. And then um just to just to be able to see the characters, to be able to emote the, like their expressions, their feelings and everything, even without having any words. You just have like the music in the background, and then just everything being able to just play out. So it was actually, it's still the same feeling of a movie. It's just that no dialogue. It's just it's
Yeah.
just no dialogue. That's just the only difference. And I just enjoyed it. I mean, there was like a couple of things in there, that's outdated. I mean, it's the 1920s. I'm like, what do you expect? But other than that, I just think that for it, and I also read that it was like his fourth film, I think it was. So
Yeah.
for this being his fourth film, I think he did a phenomenal job with it. I think he did really great for it being his, like, one of his earlier pieces.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this is one of his two of his first four films were romances.
Oh, wow.
And which is very interesting. The other one
Mm-hmm.
definitely got dark and twisted by the end. I'm like, okay, there's a Hitchcock here, but like this doesn't get dark or twisted. It still like there's toxicity thrown around here because like this is a love
It really
triangle
is.
and things are
Yeah.
getting awkward. But like it's not like outside the realm of like this stuff happens all the time
Right.
between people. But
Yeah.
I think yes, it very obviously shows how impressive he was as a young filmmaker, a great eye for things. Even just like the final boxing match the variety of shots like they have like stadium wide
Yeah.
shots and you have like the ring in one corner and then you see all like this whole group of fans and everything. I'm like
Hmm.
you have like the overhead shots in the ring and then there's medium shots where they're like just pounding at each other and I'm like we're getting rock and sock and robots here in the
Exactly.
ring and they really sell the physicality of it too
Mhm.
and it felt pretty intense boxing sequences and I'm a big fan of the Cinephiles podcast, and Steve Morris, one of the hosts, is like, there are two sports that make the best movies: baseball and boxing. And there's just so much drama in boxing.
There
Just
is.
this toe to toe throwing punches and just feeling like you're down and out in the corner looking exhausted. And I think the one of the most impressive things is reaction shots in this film because it's like there's a lot of moments where we're seeing, hey, they're flirting over there, and boyfriend's like, hmm. You're just like suspicion. And just because what I've noticed about Hitchcock's silent films are they have minimal dialogue cards. Like
Mhm.
if he can say this, if he could tell the story visually, he's gonna.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of reaction shots. Like I don't need them explaining. It's like, why are they flirting over there? No, it's like
Right.
you have them and they think they're getting a little close. They're getting a little too, they look like they're enjoying each other's company a little too much. And then you
Mhm.
just have, it'll cut to a reaction shot. And it seems so simple, but reaction shots are so important. And to be frank, this is still 1927. So there's
Right.
still a lot to be figured out from like a filmmaking standpoint. And Hitchcock's one of the most impressive technical directors ever. And
Yes.
he always like all of his best films, it's like you see all these dynamic choices as a director, and you see some of that here, and I was impressed by it. And I think the trio of actors at the center of this film really do a great job of selling this
Yes.
Brisson, Paul Davis, Hunter have great chemistry with each other. There's a lot of great tension, and it tells a really fine story of this romantic love triangle,
Yeah.
this sports competition on top of that. Because it's like not only are they fighting over this woman, they're fighting. Like they're
Exactly.
boxers and they're trying to prove
Right.
something in the ring. So honestly, this in like watching now in 2025, sure, this has a lot of beats that you see in movies like this, love triangles and boxing films, but like this felt like this was probably a fresh, really engaging experience back in 1927. And
Right.
I think Hitchcock elevates a love triangle, elevates a boxing film to feel pretty impressive for sure.
Yeah. So it's like I totally agree when you say like with the reactions,
Mm,
especially I think the one I love the most in this movie is when Jack, when he finally agrees that to when he marries Mabel,
Mhm.
and they're like she goes through with it, but you can also tell like when they're like walking back down the aisle, you can just see it on her face like, oh no, she's making a mistake, like because she's already met Bob at this time and
Yes.
they've already started talking, and you can see there's some kind of connection between the two. And so when she finally gets this chance to, say yes to Jack, she's also, you can see the like internal like confliction like in her face, like,
Yeah.
oh no, like I made this mistake, like I married this man, but I'm also falling for someone else. And because at first I was just like watching her face for a second, and I was just like
Mhm.
trying to understand like what was like going on through her head. Like you can just tell there was just so much going through. And then I think there was like one scene also with the three of them, and I think it's with Jack, and he's like in the ring, and I think he's like sparring,
Yeah.
and he like looks over and he just sees her over there talking to Bob, and they just seem all cozy and just laughing and ha ha ha. And I think that was when he told her to go outside. I do believe.
Mhm.
I think that was the time when he told her like you need to go. Like you could just see like he was starting to just get envious because it's like, why is she over there? Why is she like laughing? Like why is he keeping her company when she's with
Mhm.
me? So and in just the back and forth between the two men when Jack is like he has to make his way up to the top, like I'm gonna beat
Yeah.
you to win the love of my wife. Like it's just like that whole internal back and forth between the two, especially the scene. I think it was like at the party where you could just see Jack just watching them, and it was just like in a drunken haze, and he's just like, what is going on? Like you could just see he was like paranoid, and it was just like, okay, is this happening? Is this really happening? Because even I was just like, is this really happening? Like, is he really seeing this? Like it was just like everything was just reaction, reaction, reaction. And I love that with Alfred Hitchcock that he knows how to make it work, because with every
Mhm.
scene, like with every emotion that someone's feeling, you can feel it.
Well, and I think that's the biggest accomplishment of this film is being able to tell so much of this story without saying anything.
Right.
And like all you need to see is just like batting eyes and smiles, and then you have a suspicious looking husband over here just
Yes.
being paranoid and freaking out about this, and the big emotional swing of like the final fight of because like at this point like Mabel has strong feelings for both of these men. She's married to Jack, has
Exactly.
these strong feelings for Bob and being pulled in that direction, and just
Right.
Jack Jack being devastated in the ring and almost giving up finally sparks her to realize like I have a man who I'm married to and have these feelings for, and supports him. And that's like the big emotional crux of the film is he learns to fight again for his wife instead of
Right.
spiraling, which I feel like there's that at the party and him almost giving up on this fight. And you know on some levels, like what should we be fighting for? What are the things we really should be fighting for in life? And I think this film does a really good job of capturing that energy and that spirit. And
Yes.
I was quite impressed by this. Like, I'm not going to say this is going to be like top tier Hitchcock for me
Yeah.
as I get through like you know, I love Vertigo. I love
Yes.
Psycho and Notorious and Rebecca. There's all these films I'm going to be getting to, but like
Right.
honestly, I feel like most filmmakers would wish that they would be able to tell a story as well as this. And it's how the story was told, even if the story itself is expected and things that we've seen before and stuff like that. But I guess, Chantal, is there anything else that stood out to you about the film?
Um, uh, I just loved how it like started out in the beginning. We just see how life was like at the beginning, just seeing people walking around at a fair, just
Yeah.
just hanging out, enjoying life, even though I won't even talk about that one scene. We'll just leave that scene out of there. But it just made you feel like, oh, it's just like just a regular day, and it just seems like your typical day. Like, it's kind of like a scheme in a sense, like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna get these people money, and it's like this is how we'll do it. But I just love the fact that they didn't realize that Bob was an actual boxer. Like, I just love that that
Got a
was the
ringer
greatest thing.
there.
Exactly. I just love that so much. Is just like he gets in the in the ring with Jack, and like Jack thought, oh, it's just gonna be one round, and it was like no, like Bob took him around a few times before it was just like, all right, we're done. But I think the thing that really stuck out to me is when he won the money and he bought Mabel a gift, and it was just like I'm like, you just met this lady, and the first thing you do is buy her a gift, and she's already with someone. And it was just crazy because it was just like you're just watching her and like how she's like trying to hide it from Jack whenever she's
Mm.
around him. And then eventually he saw it, and her excuse was the like, where'd this bracelet come from? And she just said, oh, he like Bob bought it because he didn't want to, take the money. But I'm like, if you take, I'm like, but why would you buy this man's woman a gift with the money he won if he didn't want to take
Bob's
it?
stirring the
Like,
pot, like
it
right
was
off
just
the
like
bat.
Bob is being messy. Like Bob is very messy, even though he seems like, oh, he's such a gentleman, but Bob is being very messy.
Bob rolls into this story ready to mess
Yes.
some stuff up. So, which, and that's the thing, this film has a great hook at the beginning because
Yeah.
it's like this unexpected fight just sets the tone for the whole thing because Jack feels a little complacent in life and taking things for
Mhm.
granted, and Bob, strolls up, it's like beats him up, and then tries to take his wife, soon to be wife,
Exactly.
and it's just like I'm gonna I'm gonna take your health, I'm gonna take your wife, I'm gonna leave you with nothing. And I'm like,
Right.
Bob's coming to play. And the journey that Jack goes on, it feels very satisfying by the end.
Mhm.
And you have that like iconic moment of him like dead in the corner and her coming up to him and having that moment. It's on some of the posters too.
Yes.
That specific shot. So obviously that's like an iconic shot from this film. But no,
Yes.
this has a great hook at the beginning that really sets things up, and Bob's in here for some trouble.
Yes.
For
and
sure.
it's and I just love it because he just keeps it's like Bob just keeps going and
He's
going
going.
and going. And it's just like and it's like they making it seem like, oh, Bob's like a gentleman, but it's like really technically no, he's not. He's kind of conniving in a sense when you think about it, because it's like if he was such a gentleman, he would not be going after a taken woman. Like he
Mhm.
would have went for someone else, but like you said, he was coming for Jack's like health, his wife. It was like dude was coming for his life. Like it was just basically like you're over after this. It's like after I take everything, you're done. But Jack finally got
Absolutely.
that fire underneath him again, and I just like you said, I just love watching like every time when he was like in the ring, you would just see his name move up higher and higher
Mhm.
and higher until he got the Bob, and it was just like, all right, and I'm like, this is your chance to. It's like this is all for the marbles. It's like you gotta win for for like your dignity, your pride, and like and your wife, like. So it was just it's one of those like gratifying moments just to kind of see, the best man win.
Absolutely. But yeah, this is a really fine film. Not something you would expect from Alfred Hitchcock, but he leaves a stamp on, it, and I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
important thing. But especially because this is streaming on Amazon, easy film to go check out. It's
Yeah.
accessible. I feel like most people have Amazon, even if you don't have it for the movie watching. Like, not that Prime anyway, so it's streaming there for
The
free.
same.
Absolutely. And so, yes, this was fourth feature film, fifth film overall that we'll be covering here. And next week, um, other SiftPop contributors, Sam is going to be coming on. We're going to be talking about The Farmer's Wife. Wonder if that's another love triangle dealing with somebody else's wife. So,
Hey,
yeah,
everybody's being messy.
Hitchcock was a little messy, I guess, with kinds of stories. To be fair, oh, so many of his stories are toxic. And
Of course.
so was he, apparently. So there you go.
Man is
Um,
messy.
he did love his blonde women for sure. Um, that those are our thoughts on The Ring, and we'll get to our recommendations then. And Chantal has two shows that she wanted to bring up, so go ahead.
So my first sorry. My first option is Chief of War. It's on Apple TV.
Mhm.
It stars Jason Momoa. I want to say, what is his name? Cliff. What is it? Cliff. Cliff. I cannot think. I'm like literally drawing a
Is it
blank
Cliff
on his name.
Curtis?
Thank you, Cliff Curtis.
That makes a lot of sense that he's in
Thank
this.
you. Right, and then we have Tamara Morrison from who played Boba Fett.
Ooh,
From
nice.
yeah. So you have these three men in the show, which is basically about the story of the unifications of the Hawaiian Islands from the indigenous perspective. And Hawaiian war chief joins a campaign to unite the warring islands in order to save them from the threat of colonization. So it's 9 episodes on Apple TV, and it's spoken in their native tongue. So, just so you know, you will have subtitles, but it is such a good show. It's beautiful. Just the backdrop of being, of course, the island of Hawaii.
Mhm.
So you just have the islands, you have the native people, you have the culture, you have the lore. It's just an amazing story, and I think that Jason Momoa, I think he was like a co-writer, and then he
He
directed a
created the
few.
show,
Yeah, and
so
he was the creator, so I'm like, he has a great one on his hands. I think
mhm.
his acting chops in this was so amazing. I think he's showing that he can be like a very serious actor. Um, so I definitely would say give the show a chance. It's so great, and I just wish that Apple TV would just push their shows a little bit better than what they're doing, because this show is phenomenal, and I just feel like they should be pushing it more, and they're not
Like advertising wise, I don't think Apple does a great job of advertising basically anything.
at all.
But they're pushing it on the app. Because
Yes.
anytime any show that I'm watching ends, it's like people war. And I'm like, I'm gonna get around to it, Apple. Leave me alone.
Right.
But no, this is obviously a passion project for Jason Momoa, and I
Yeah.
appreciate all the Polynesian representation here, getting
Mhm.
all of my favorite Polynesian character actors thrown in the show too. So we
Yes.
appreciate that for sure. But no, this, especially after C was one of the launching titles for Apple TV Plus with Jason
Oh,
Momoa. It makes me happy that Apple's investing back in Jason Momoa and letting him
yeah.
do this project for sure. Now, so I
Same.
haven't watched this one yet, but I have watched the other one that you're going to mention.
So my next one, of course, is Alien Earth. Like, what can you say? It's just one of them shows that follows like one of them franchises that we've all grown to love, and for
Mhm.
it to have something that's been going for so long, and to have this show be something refreshing and feels new, like it's like the stories could keep going on and on and on with Alien, because now they've landed on Earth. So just to be able to, like, now we're no longer in space, we're on ground people, we're like with actual like humans. So it's just the like again backdrop Earth, and it's just instead of the xenomorphs, we don't just have xenomorphs, we have
No, we do not.
more creepy crawlers, especially the little my little how did I say my little octopus the
Uh, Oculus.
yes, the little Oculus, the little tentacles with the eye, like that
Oh my
thing. I
God.
never thought
Ocul Oculopus.
that's a good one, Oculus. That is perfect. I've never seen something that terrifying before. Like I will always have something like over my face. Like I don't. That to me is like so creepy to be
Mhm.
something to be barreled into your face like that. Like who wants that? Like that is so weird and just ugh. But I would have to say I think it's Sydney Chandler who plays
Yes.
Wendy.
Mhm.
She is phenomenal. Like I love her. She's perfect as an android, or not an android. She's a hybrid. My bad.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid. And then the fact, like the thought that she can actually speak to these, to the xenomorphs. Like that to me, it was like, whoa, that like blew my mind.
Like,
And
lady,
like
stop
that
your
whole
clicking. I
thing,
don't like it.
it's like that's so weird. It's like get away from me. Like I don't need you near me. Just I'm like I will shoot you. Like go away. And I just love all the rest of the characters, like the hybrids, like the Lost Boys, as they will call them. Like
Hmm.
everyone was on their A game, especially with them being like kids' consciousness in adult bodies.
Hmm.
I love that idea because it's like you have adults playing kids, and it's
Yeah.
just, and I love it because they play them so perfectly because it's just like they are really kids, but also they are strong, and it's like they don't
Hmm.
realize how strong they are, and it's just like until like the very end, which I just hate. It's just like so much happens within I think 8, 9 episodes. I think it was eight
It
episodes.
is 8 episodes. Yep. And
Like
this has a great cast, obviously, and I think
very yes.
Chandler's going to be a real standout from this for sure.
Mm,
Having like Alex Lothar and Essie Davis from the Babadook and Timothy Oliphant
yes.
popping up there. Um, this so I think what episode was it? Episode 5, where it was like it felt like their version of Alien, where we're on the ship and shit's going
Exactly.
down. And
Exactly.
that episode was crazy. And then it just kept getting crazier because they could have named this Alien Zoo Earth, with this whole collection of weird alien
Yes.
beings that is just like, nope, I don't like this. And the the body horror is fantastic. It's grotesque. The Fly,
Yeah.
like, just gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
Um, and Noah Hawley, I'm a huge fan from Fargo. Um, I'd be interested to go back and give Legion another try. I don't know if I was prepared for that, to be perfectly honest,
Me
when I
either.
watched that.
Yeah. Same.
But I'm a huge Fargo fan. Season 2 of
Hmm.
Fargo is one of my favorite seasons of television ever. Even the last season I absolutely loved. And the
Yeah.
killer music choices that he makes at the end of every one of these
Yes.
episodes,
Yes.
I had so many songs stuck in my head because of this show. That one episode that went ended with Metallica just like thumping in there. I'm just like, yeah, this is just punctuating there. But no, the whole season's out now. It's on FX on Hulu. Soon to be, I guess, FX on Hulu on Disney Plus, I guess, depending on where you're watching your
Yeah.
Hulu. So both those shows, go check them out. And I have my normal recommendation. So I do a new movie, a watch list movie, and a rewatch of one of my movies. Also from Apple TV Plus, oddly enough, is All of You. And this has Brett Goldstein from
Okay.
Ted Lasso and Shrinking, and Imogen Poots. And this
Okay.
is like a near future kind of romance where there's this thing that you could pay for that will find your soulmate.
Okay.
And Brett Goldstein is in love with Imogen Poots. Imogen Poots is definitely in love with Brett Goldstein, but he helps her pay to get this test done to find her soulmate. And
Oh.
basically, it's them, will they, won't they, over the course of years when
Okay.
she has a husband and a family, and will they like keep this torrid love affair up? And what really sold me on this is Brett Goldstein and Imogen Poots are so great in this movie, and I love Brett Goldstein. Ted Lasso immediately, Roy F. and Kent. Just love him so much. And when he popped up in Shrinking, will we ever get him as Hercules again in the MCU? I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
I don't know. But here he's so great and their chemistry is off the charts. And that's what makes it so much more frustrating that like, why couldn't you've been together? Why didn't you say something and going through that experience? So like I recommend it. I think it was a really fine film.
Okay.
Off my watch list, I just talked about this on one of my podcasts from SPDM Crew with my wife, Jess, House of Usher. So I was a huge fan of the Mike Flanagan show. This is
Yes.
from 1960 from director Roger Corman starring Vincent Price. Because
Okay.
of course, Vincent Price. Vincent Price made everything better.
Of course.
And it's creepy, atmospheric. It's like 80 something minutes. It's an interesting adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you love that like old gothic horror
Hmm.
kind of stuff that Vincent Price did a lot of. And then lastly, my wife picked this for us to watch because this is called The Vanishing. And this had Peter Mullen and Gerard Butler in it. It's about an actual mystery of these lighthouse men disappearing from
Oh,
this lighthouse off the coast of Scotland, and nobody knows exactly what happened. The
okay.
common theory is like a storm swept them away and stuff like that. But not this movie. This movie,
Oh.
they get invaded by some pretty bad folks and things go sideways. And it's
Ooh,
intense, it's thrilling, it's brutal. It has Gerard Butler in it, so that was good enough for me to watch it the first time when it came
all
out.
right.
I think this came out in like 2017 or 18, so somewhere around there. It's a pretty small film, but Peter Mullen, I think, is a great character actor as well. Has some really
Hmm.
great performances and some good intensity. Um, Probably not historically accurate, maybe
Okay.
a little exploitative, but
Okay.
it's thrilling for sure.
Right.
So there you go. But those are my recommendations, and that's a wrap on another episode of Welcome to the Wasteland. But Chantal, thank you so much for coming on and chatting some movies with me.
Of course. It's always a pleasure.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.